say someone has created an AI video about the president saying something about the budget, which is false. That will create a lot of confusion because some people know it's AI and some won't.
A new wave of AI powered voice cloning scams sweeps across Kenya, with criminals using technology to impersonate family members and demand urgent money transfers.
We are going to make sure that housing creates at least 500,000 jobs in Kenya.
As the new housing levy deductions take effect, Kenyans struggle with shrinking take home pay and a rising cost of living, sparking fresh economic anxieties. Police issue a new alert over a surge in online gender-based violence, targeting women and vulnerable groups through cyber-stalking and intimate image abuse. And fresh concerns emerge over the continued degradation of the Mau Forest Complex, with experts warning of dire consequences for water security and climate patterns. Live from the weekly Verdict newsroom, I am Pauline Ochieng, and we welcome our viewers in Kenya and around the world. We are with you for the next 25 minutes. Thank you for joining us. This is the weekly Verdict. You can join the conversation on our social media handles on Facebook, The Weekly Verdict, on Twitter, @WeeklyVerdict, and the hashtag #TheWeeklyVerdict. We now turn to a growing threat to our elections. Imagine getting a voice note from a politician you trust, confessing to a crime or insulting voters. Now imagine you find out that clip was a complete fake. That's the new reality, as AI-generated deepfake audio is being weaponized to spread lies and manipulate voters. Sean Patet has the story. Let us know your thoughts using hashtag #DeeplyFakeKE.
This is the new face of election interference, and it fits in the palm of your hand. It starts with just a few seconds of anyone's voice clip from a speech or even a radio interview. With AI tools, scammers can make them say anything. Absolutely anything. And when it hits WhatsApp, the damage is done. Officials are trying to get a handle on this, but they admit the technology is moving faster than they can. But the problem is, by the time an official denial comes out, thousands have already heard the lie and believed it.
So where does this leave us? It means we can't trust our ears anymore, that the foundation of hearing is believing is gone. And experts tell me this isn't a future problem, it's happening right now. And it's only going to get harder to spot. Sean Patet, The Weekly Verdict, Nairobi.
Sean, this is terrifying. What makes this fake audio clip so much more powerful than, let's say, a fake post on Facebook?
Pauline, it's the intimacy. Reading a lie is one thing, but hearing a voice you recognize, a voice that sounds scared or angry or confident, it goes straight to your gut. It feels like a private conversation, and that makes it incredibly hard to dismiss. It's designed to make you react, not to think.
And who are the people falling for this?
It's not any one group, Pauline. It's all of us. We are all vulnerable, but the targets are often people who are already passionate about a candidate or an issue. The scammers aren't just spreading misinformation. They're hijacking our existing biases and fears. Using them against us, it's a con game played with the highest possible stakes, which is our votes.
That was a sobering thought, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline.
To help us understand how these deepfake audios are made and how they spread, I'm now joined by a lecturer in computer science. Thank you for joining us. Let's start with the basics. How easy is it for someone to create one of these fake audio clips?
Very easy. It is getting easier by month. I want you to understand, Pauline, that tools are used to clone voices or to generate synthetic speech from a few minutes of audio, which are increasingly accessible to non-experts. So anyone, by this I mean anyone can access AI-generated voices using this minimal data and can fool listeners to believing that they are real voices. Also, according to one of our research articles according to one of our research members whom we are doing a research with, we also realized through one of the articles that anyone can create convincing fake audio voices with minimal effort from now henceforth. Anyone. and they can come up with a voice of Donald Trump or a voice of Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the president of Kenya, a voice of anyone, and just clown it. And you see, so on the detection side, audio deepfake tools are inconsistent. Some detection tools fail often and to classify the fake voices. So it is also hard to classify them, whether they are fake or not. So because many clown or synthetic speech tools, they are now open source and easy to access online with low barrier entry. They are allowed to come in online. There is no one working with the system of trying to bury those or to make sure they don't come in online. Yeah. So we are at a point where a motivated person with moderate technical skill, just moderate skill, will produce a credible fake audio clip of any voice, even my voice. Even as I'm doing right now, there's someone who can produce such kind of a voice, and they say it is Stanley speaking. Once posted online on social media messaging apps or forums, a fake clip can quickly be shared, duplicated, modified, and reposted, making the takedown very difficult. Or rather, the containment. Once it's just posted, it will rapidly flow, especially when people are free, maybe Fridays evening, Saturdays evening, Sundays, everyone is online. Sunday in the afternoon, most of the people are online. They're chatting to their friends because they've been busy during the week or maybe late at night from 9 p.m. So detection difficulties. It is difficult to detect. It is very difficult to detect. It is very, very difficult to detect due to certain reasons like the speech over phone, noisy background, and also varied languages, and also a lack of watermarking or tracking. If you haven't watermarked any of your projects, whether an advertisement, if you haven't watermarked them, it is very hard for you to flag them. It is very, very hard for you to flag any video or audio clip that you haven't watermarked or tracked. So many synthetic audio clips are embedded through metadata. So when you watermark them, it is easy for you to flag them and to avoid them being manipulated.
That was a powerful and concerning analogy. Thank you for breaking down this complex threat for us. Now to a story hitting Kenyans directly in their wallets. As the new housing levy deductions take effect, millions of salaried Kenyans are seeing their take-home pay shrink, even as the cost of basic good continues to rise. This double squeeze is igniting fresh economic anxieties across the nation. Our correspondent reports. Join the conversation using hashtag housing levy impact.
For Njeri, a mother of two and office administrator, the new month brings a familiar dread. Her payslip now shows a deduction for the controversial housing levy, reducing her net pay at a time when sugar, maize flour, and transport costs are all heading north.
Judiciary. It is deceitful for you to sabotage the opportunity for other Kenyans also to get a job in other parts of our economy.
This policy is meant to fund affordable housing, but for many, the immediate reality is tough choices between essentials. This isn't just a policy debate anymore. It's a calculation made at every kitchen table. The question now is whether the long-term promise of affordable housing is worth the immediate financial strain on families and businesses, forcing a difficult national reckoning on the price of development. Joanne Gumbi, The Weekly Verdict, Nairobi.
To analyze the long-term implications of these fiscal pressures, I am joined by an expert in economics. Welcome to The Weekly Verdict.
Thank you so much. My name is Kevin Okech. Thank you to be here.
Beyond the immediate pain, what is the strategic gamble here? Can these measures actually stimulate growth, or do they risk stifling the very economy they aim to build?
In terms of the economical growth, I really know that the government is doing something marvelous. We can talk about the merging of the government economical dividends so that they can privatize it and to bring more benefit to the country. which I really appreciate, and I know the benefit of it. Although the problem is that the more you privatize the government entities and sell the shares, the more you risk at losing high number of people, depending with the person who is going to buy the share. So in one way or another, the populations of the worker from different companies that had high shares, that the government had high shares, might lose their workers, depending with the person who is coming in to buy those shares. But again, also when you look at it in another different dynamics, government own 30% of businesses' profits across the country. So it means that even if they sell the highest shares that they have from different companies, they'll have an opportunity still to earn 30% from the taxes that they are taking from different companies and different organizations, including the entrepreneurial small-scale businesses around the country. I gave out my view some few months ago in relation to increasing taxes without considering the number of populations that are affected. One thing that needs to be clear from the government is that the government should increase the broad base of the tax across the country. What do I mean with this? You create an opportunity for the largest population that is unemployed, so that at the end of the day they can earn a living, and from that living you tax them. Or rather, the government has done it contrary to the opinion. And I agree that most of the people are actually disadvantaged, because you find that the higher the taxes from the exact number of the population of the country, without considering the other population that has nothing to do in relation to job opportunity or any other related activity or business related, it becomes so much difficult for them to accommodate their daily life. And this leads to an increase of effect to the largest populations of the country. Sometimes I always say that government run on the opinion of the larger population of the country. That's why it is always said in parliament that the majority will have their way, while minority will have their say. Unfortunately, most of the time you find that when government has given out its own opinion, it becomes so much difficult to revert their mindset. So this has led to high population mistrust the government, and sometimes even misunderstand the actual direction that the government is going to take or perhaps has taken. So because of that, it becomes so much difficult for government to redefine the mindset of the populations of the country to accept what they are bringing on board. I think in one way or another, the economic advisors of the president and the economic committee of the country should think more than what they are doing, so that at the end of the day, they can make the population accept the taxes that they are bringing on board, and the policies that they are bringing on board. One thing that come out clearly, and I would wish the country to bear with me, is that if you increase the tax of a company or an organization or a product from an organization, one thing that will happen is that the owner or the entrepreneurs who are actually related to this organization or this business will be affected. And the more they are affected, the more they affect the common mwananchi who is working in this organization. And the more also they are affected, the more they increase the prices without increasing the quality or the value of the product. So at the end of the day, you will find that, or maybe let's use an example of a bread that was 600 gram, the weight will remain the same, the quantity remain the same, but the quality will be reduced, so that these people can cope up with the taxes that the government has imposed. That's why we always say the work of the government is to create a conducive environment for the businesses to thrive. But again, at the same time, to improve the valuability of the country in terms of production.
So, what is the path forward to avoid deeper social unrest?
There is two things that the government in its power should do. One is that they should have a civic, clear education to the common citizens so that the citizens can understand the way forward and why is it that the government is taking that direction. I'll never disagree with the imposition of the government in terms of high taxation, because when you look at a comparison between Kenya and the US, the US tax rate is so much higher than us, but the people who lives in US are accommodatively living a good life, and government is taking care of risks such as health, such as fight on things like accidents, such as accommodation. You'll get that you pay rent, yes, but the high portion of your house is taken care by the government, including electricity and water bill and all that. So the government should have a position whereby they critically think of the population that they have. Is it a weak population? Is it a high-risked population? Is it a population that can take responsibility of the taxes that are being brought? Remember, this country is 75% educated. But at the same time, this country is more than 60% unemployed. That is high risk to the country. It means that at any time government is thinking of development, at any time government is thinking of imposing any tax or any policy related to tax, they should consider this 60%. Unless the government come back and track this 60% and ensure that they create employment, they create job opportunity, they create ways that can make this population have maybe business that they run, have, or maybe perhaps let's say about a social welfare kind of related job opportunity, or if not that, they bring in things related like accommodating their expenses, the value expenses like rent and all that, then this social rest will never end. And I think one of the things that will come out clearly is that there will be no population that will never accept a government that is coming in. They will always cheer up before the government is in, but by the time government comes in, they will not see the importance of that government if the government still continue with the way of governing.
That was a frank assessment of the stakes. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, the hidden crime wave happening online. We investigate the surge in online gender-based violence and the fight to make the digital world safer for everyone. That's next on The Weekly Verdict. Welcome back to The Weekly Verdict. We now turn to a disturbing and often hidden crime, the surge in online gender-based violence. Police have issued a new alert as predators increasingly target women and vulnerable groups through cyber-stalking, harassment, and intimate image abuse. Our correspondent reports. Join the conversation using hashtag #StopOGBV.
The violence no longer stays on the streets. It follows victims home, into their pockets, and onto the screens. Online gender-based violence is a psychological assault that can be perpetrated anonymously, leaving victims feeling trapped, isolated, and unsafe in their own digital lives. The laws exist, like the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act, but the prosecution remains a challenge. Authorities now struggle to keep the pace with the entirely digital nature of these crimes. While the formal reporting mechanisms are in place, many of these cases still go unreported. Driven by a fear of stigma or a profound lack of the faith in the system, the real fight is back. It is happening within the support groups and through the ongoing digital literacy campaigns. Yet these battles continue to rise again. Juliet Kamau reporting for the Weekly Verdict, Nairobi.
Joining us now is a psychologist who works directly with victims of these digital crimes. It's good to have you here in the studio.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
From your experience, what are the biggest gaps in the current system for supporting victims of online gender based violence?
Okay. So some of the gaps we face when it comes to protecting victims of online gender-based violence are issues such as victim shaming. So when someone comes up and say they were a victim of online GBV, uh, they may face shaming as opposed to support from their online followers. And there's also weak laws. We've not really seen perpetrators of online GBV being brought to book, which may be disadvantaging a lot of the online victims. And yeah, this is hard to see. So these are two completely different things, but I know they sound quite similar. So one is a harmful online disagreement, and then there's the other thing, which is a digital crime. So the main factors that would differentiate the two is one, what was the intent of the disagreement? If something is malicious, then it leans more towards a digital crime. And how frequent has this been done? If it was a one-off thing, then it could probably lean towards. If it was a one-off thing, then it leans towards it being more just a harmful disagreement as opposed to a digital crime. So a digital crime is something we would consider as repetitive or has taken place over a longer period of time. So one of the challenges many victims face is being scared of public shaming. So one of the main points I raised in the first question is a lot of victim shaming. So when someone comes forward and claims they were a victim of online GBV, they may face the backlash from the public, which is uh, which is not encouraging for someone to come out and say that, yes, I'm a victim, this is what I went through. And then once they raise it, something we've also noticed from our public platforms and our social media platforms is that they're not very, but they're slow to address such issues or take down certain content that could be considered to be not good content or a form of online GBV. And also another challenge someone would face is getting the right people to, or the right people in law to help them through the whole process.
And for the victims themselves, what is the most critical first step towards reclaiming their power and their safety?
First, if you are watching this and you're a victim of online GBV, I am sorry for what you have gone through or what you are going through. But as a start, I would definitely encourage you to document everything. If it's the video someone has posted, if it's any comments, document. You definitely need the evidence if you're going to report them. So please document and stop engaging with the perpetrators. Yeah, just step aside, stop engaging, take care of your mental state. But definitely document, then stop engaging.
That was such a powerful and necessary message. Thank you for your valuable work and for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you very much for having me, Pauline.
And now, we turn to a silent crisis unfolding in one of Kenya's most critical ecosystems. Fresh concerns are emerging over the continued degradation of the Mau Forest Complex, with experts warning of dire consequences for water security, agriculture, and climate patterns across the nation and beyond.
The Mau Forest is not just about trees. It truly is Kenya's essential lifeline. As the largest of the country's famed water towers, it effectively captures rainwater, consistently feeds mighty rivers, and faithfully supports millions of lives downstream. But today, relentless illegal logging, encroachment, and degradation are severely choking this vital organ. The evidence is right before us, in the reality of our diminishing rivers and in these increasingly inconsistent weather patterns. Restoration efforts are underway, but this is a race against time. The cost of inaction in drought, hunger, and conflict over shrinking resources will fall to generations to come. The fate of the Mau fundamentally links to the nation's economic and environmental health. Dama Muthui for the weekly verdict.
For a deeper dive into the long-term implications, I am now joined by a lecturer in environmental science. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Jesse Bitonga.
Beyond the environmental impact, what are the economic and social costs of the Mau's degradation for the average Kenyan?
So the Mau forest decline reduces water flow to major rivers and dams that power hydropower stations and supply irrigation. Then, of course, this causes high electricity and food prices, crop failure, and water shortages. Tourism also suffers as wildlife habitats shrink. For ordinary Kenyans, this means increased cost of living, job losses in farming and energy sectors, and greater vulnerability to droughts and floods. Major causes include illegal logging, charcoal burning, encroachment of farming and settlements, excision of forests, land for political reasons, and poor enforcement of forest protection laws. And population pressure and demand for agricultural land have also driven clearing. The responsibility, of course, is shared among multiple actors. One of them is politicians who have allocated forest land for votes, illegal settlers and loggers who exploit the forest for short-term gain, weak government enforcement that allow degradation to continue, and last but not least, consumers who created demand for timber and charcoal. Ultimately, leadership failures have been the biggest enabler. Of course, there's been some challenges. Challenges include political interference, corruption in land allocation, lack of alternative livelihoods for evicted settlers, limited funding for reforestation, and conflicts between conservation and community needs. Climate change also shows natural regeneration. Yes, progress has been there, but it has been mixed. Reforestation and fencing have helped in some areas, and water levels have slightly improved. However, inconsistent enforcement, lack of coordination among agencies, and poor community involvement limit this success. Many restoration projects have then stalled once the funding ends.
Will evictions and small replanting projects actually solve this crisis?
Well, not on their own, but evictions without resettlement plans really fuel a lot of social tension, and small projects can't match the scale of degradation. Long-term success needs community-based conservation, alternative livelihoods, strict protection, and transparent land policies to prevent re-encroachment.
Thank you so much for laying out the urgent stakes so clearly.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Pauline.
And that is our verdict for this week. We have covered the predatory threat of AI voice scams, the fiscal squeeze from the housing levy, the hidden epidemic of online gender-based violence, and the silent environmental crisis in the Mau forest. From all of us here at the Weekly Verdict Newsroom, thank you for trusting us with your time. Stay informed, stay vigilant. I'm your host, Pauline Ochin.